Hello, hello. So, are you a little curious about the Google Pixel tablet, or maybe you've not even heard about it? So, we're going to take a look at the device, what you can do with it, and we're going to talk some tech about the Google Pixel tablet, why you might want one, all that kind of good stuff. So, come on, let's get this party started. Alrighty, so I'm going to just admit right up front that, I have a bit of a gear obsession. It comes with the territory, but it works out for you because that means very often I get my hands on things at my own expense. I am not at the level where anybody is comping me or begging me to look at their product. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but this is stuff that I bought. And this particular one really caught my eye because I have felt for quite a while that the whole tablet market had kind of gone to sleep. And I thought that that was a mistake because there's a lot of perks and benefits to using a tablet that definitely has a use case. And so I was very excited to see that this one was coming out. And so yes, I jumped in on it the day it was available to order. And so now I have it. So we're going to do an unboxing on it. And we're going to talk about what it is, what it isn't, and compare it to some things because there is, of course, some confusion about because of how they're positioning it or not positioning it, I guess is the way to put this. But welcome. For those of you who are new here, my name is Kathleen, and I'm here as your tech coach. Short version is tech is my day gig. It's also my hobby. So I spend my whole life like playing with this stuff and learning about it, which means everybody I know comes to me when they have a question, they need help, they want a recommendation. And I know not everybody has somebody like that in their life. So this is why we're here. I'm always here. If you have any questions, comments, if you have something you want me to cover on the show, feel free to reach out. But let's get into the good stuff. Okay, so as always, we're going to level set because this whole concept of a tablet may be new to somebody. So I just kind of want to run through some high-level points of what a tablet is, and then we'll get into the unboxing fun. So basically, a tablet is a portable computer, right? But it's not generally a mobile phone, right? So you don't need to have cellular service. It usually works on Wi-Fi, and it's something smaller than a laptop, bigger than most phones, smaller than a laptop. So it's a little bit more portable. It does not come with a keyboard, right? There's no clamshell case or anything like that. It's just a flat thing. And it's sort of like, there's these hybrid devices, where you can kind of fold a laptop that you can fold it back and kind of get the whole tablet feel, but it's much thicker and heavier. The Surface Pro that I have has got the removable keyboard, so it kind of works like a tablet. But it's specifically what we're talking about here, what we're going to be looking at is an Android tablet. So this tablet is running Android as the operating system, which admittedly I do love. So they've got a lot of different purposes, and we can talk about that in a minute. As far as how they compare to a computer, right, we've already kind of covered, right, they're generally not mobile devices. So the only way you're going to be making phone calls or anything like that off of it is if you are connected to Wi-Fi and you're using a Wi-Fi compatible service, right? So yes, you can use it for meetings, you can use it for Wi-Fi calling, all that kind of thing. But really, it's closer on the right. So if we've got a sliding scale, right, where we've got computers on one end and mobile devices on the other, a tablet is going to come much closer to a computer than to a like a mobile phone kind of thing, because they're highly functional. You can do a lot on them. They're not a full-form computer, right? But you can still run applications. You can do things on them. Obviously, you can do the things which are pretty universal now, like surfing the web and email and, watching and consuming content like YouTube and Netflix and Hulu and all that kind of stuff. Amazon Prime. Good Omens is coming out soon. I can't wait. Well, Good Omens too. So all that kind of consumable, more passive stuff is definitely there. But you can also use apps to actually do things and get things done. And that includes things like photo editing and video editing, creating art, writing documents, creating music, editing music, like pretty much anything you want to do, there's probably a way to do it on a tablet, just like with a Chromebook, right? Not exactly the same as a computer. You're not going to be doing high-end rendering on it because it doesn't have the firepower for that. But for anything below that level, there's usually a way to accomplish a task given this kind of a device. So it's a very handy thing and very easy to use. Having mentioned a Chromebook and tablets are kind of closely aligned, right? I mean, that they're both, and well, in this case, these are Android operating system ones. Chromebooks look more like a conventional laptop. I should have brought my Chromebook in. I knew I forgot something when I came in here, but it's a more of a conventional look. Here, I've got a small laptop that can stand in for that right now. This is not a Chromebook, but it's close enough to give you the concept, right? So a Chromebook is generally, this kind of a thing, where you can, open it up and it's got a keyboard and you can work on it. And sometimes, they're convertible, like this is what I was talking about before, where you can turn it over and treat it like a tablet, but it's heavier and it does have the keyboard and all that kind of stuff. Plus it's got, ports that you can connect into and all that kind of good stuff. So pretty much everything you can do on a Chromebook, like as far as loading apps and working on it and all that, you can do on a tablet. It just doesn't come with a keyboard. That said, most of them are either touch and or you can use a stylus on them. Anybody who's been around for a while knows I love a good stylus. So they, from a functionality standpoint, they're pretty closely aligned with that, other than the whole keyboard thing. The other thing that people are going to ask early on is, is this right for you? And we're going to go over that in the course of this particular video, because the answer is always maybe. It depends on your needs, what it is that you want, how much money you have to spend, all that kind of good stuff. But that said, if you're looking for a more budget-friendly kind of device that is highly portable and offers a lot of functionality, these are definitely something to look into. And so we'll get into that a little bit more in a second. All right. By the way, because somebody's asking, yes, if you have questions, if you have comments, if you have a topic you want me to cover, if you just go to yourtechcoach.com, there is a contact form there. Just go ahead and let me know what it is that you need. And if you need me to get back in touch with you, make sure you give me a email address so that I can get back in touch with you and we can chat. Also, if you're looking for one-on-one services, there is a way to sign up for those there too. So thank you for asking. And that's where you can go ahead and get that. All righty. Here we go. This is it. This is the time. We're going to do the unboxing now. It's time to unbox. Okay, so what we've got is we've got the case, which is optional. You don't have to get the case, but of course I did. Hey, it's been a hot minute since I treated myself to some new text, okay, to new tech. Okay, but this is the thing we're really here for. Okay, so this is what we're going to be unboxing. I did just want to show you real quick because I thought this was cool, and maybe it's been there before, but I don't remember seeing this before. And that is when I opened the box, there was a little message inside the box. Let me bring up the overhead camera. And let's take that down so you can see. So when I opened up, this is at the top of the box, and it says, in with the old, out with the new. Reuse this box to recycle your old electronics. Request a label at g.co/store/recycling. Follow the shipping instructions, and your old devices will be recycled. I kind of like that. I'm kind of impressed that, that they're hearing us, right? Because one of the things that I do struggle with as I buy all this gear is, at some point I don't need it all. And it used to be that I could, gift it to friends and relatives. But most of them now are at a level where they're just going ahead and buying their own stuff. So this makes me feel better because it's like, you know what? I do have some things that I just can't justify keeping anymore, and I've asked around, nobody really wants, and it's just not worth the effort of putting them on eBay. So at least I know that I can responsibly move them on and let them get recycled into some other gear that I'll buy later. So anyway, I just wanted to share that because I thought that was kind of cool. All right, let me get this thing positioned so we can do the unboxing. I'm going to try to do this as much as I can on the overhead camera so you can see as I see. So let us switch over. Overhead. There we go. And let's take that down so we can see stuff. So, as usual, lovely, Google does their packaging nice, nice little picture here. Might have to raise this camera, we'll say. So this comes with the tablet and the charging station, which is also a speaker. And it's got all the usual stuff here. So, okay. I'm really happy when they went to these pull tabs. Makes life so much easier. Okay, and it's recyclable. All right, is there anything else I need to remove here? Is this also a pull tab? Yes, it is. So, okay, there's two pull tabs. Let's go ahead and pull them both. All right. It's heavy. This box is very heavy. Ooh, come on. Come on. There's some nice ASMR on that. Alrighty, let me put the box down here. Okay, so right on top we have the tablet in its nice little wrapper. Just there's a little tab here. Makes it very easy to lift up. Let's see what else is in the box. We've got another little tab thingy. This looks like your usual paperwork. Is this open or is it just a slide out kind of thing? It's just a slide out kind of thing. Okay, so we've got, let's get started, usual warranty stuff. Press and hold for a few minutes, follow the on-screen setup. Wow, that's it? That's the whole thing? Wow, that is the shortest installation instructions I've ever seen. And then on the back, so we've got the tablet itself, we've got the base station here, and this is the charging station, and the cord, and that's it. So that's cool. It's got some URLs on there in case you need extra help or want extra information. Sorry, I'm a little ADHD or whatever. I gotta put all the stuff back. That's interesting. I'm not sure what that is. It's got a, I don't know if you can see, there's a circle patch on here, and it's got a very textured, I might just have to peel that off later and see what that's all about. But anyway, we won't, we digress. Okay, so charging cord, and this is the base. So your usual, if you've bought anything from Google in the past 2 years, I love these little clips that they put on here. It's great for cable management. And the charge, and a pretty standard connector. Not USB-C, I'm surprised, but just a regular, but I guess for this kind of device that makes sense. And here we have the base. We'll unwrap that. Oops, oh well, so much for keeping that. All right, now these of course come in different colors. I went with gray because that tends to be my style. If I can't get blue, I get gray. So these dots here, that's what you need to connect the tablet to do the charging, and this also works as the speaker. And then back here is where you do the, where you put in the power, and then we've got, of course, the little logo. And it's got that it's like a rubberized, but it's got some texture to it. So that'll keep it from sliding around wherever you put it. This is not as heavy as I thought it was going to be, but it's not that it's light, but it's not a brick like I expected it to be. And I think that's it. Yes. Okay. So that's all the stuff. So let's get to the tablet. Okay, so that's the upside. This is the back. So again, got to figure out where the... here we go. Try to do this without giving myself a paper cut. Okay, so again, this is the back. So here, these little silver pieces here, the little dots. That's what you're going to plug, what you're going to attach to the base to do the charging. It does have a back camera on it. Let me put that here. Okay. And then this is the front of it. Ooh, I should have brought a... I have... Okay. A little dust on it. All right, so this will be a little hard to see on this particular camera, but the front-facing camera, it looks like it's right here. Then it's got a light sensor next to it, which you would expect. Other than that, pretty basic. We have on this side, try to get this positioned. So I'm guessing that these are the speakers, and that would be a USB-C connection. And then over here, 2 more speakers and a little hole for something, I don't know what. So, okay. Are these, yeah, those are holes, not... here we go. And then on the top, 2 more little holes. I'm guessing more little speakers. And then over here, we've got 2 buttons. Okay. Well, we'll figure these out together. I'm not sure what this one is, but I'm thinking this might be power. No, I had the instructions out. I should RTFM, right? No, this is the power one. Okay. For a second. Usually these things come charged. I'm thinking that that's the power. Let me get the instructions out again. They were short, but I guess I should have paid more attention. Oh, okay, that was. Okay, so the one on the far right is the power. Took a little second there for it to wake up. So this one here is the power, and this feels like a rocker switch, so this must be volume, the silver one. All right, so let's, ooh, that really blows it out. So that, I'm using a webcam as an overhead camera, so it's reacting to the fact that the screen got bright. Let me see if I can adjust that. No, it's going to just overreact. Okay, that's all right. You're seeing what you need to see. Okay, and your usual Pixel, welcome, let's get started kind of thing. So I love their little animations. Oh, and it does have a pretty good charge. It's got about a half charge, half of. You see that? Probably not, but trust me, it's about half. Okay, whoops. Oh, and okay, so so this is one of the things with a tablet is that it is sensitive to how you're holding it. So this will work in portrait mode, or it will work in landscape mode. We'll stay in landscape mode for the purposes of that right now. So let's say get started. Okay, now you know what we're gonna we're gonna flip off. Let me get it to the point. So I'll just tell you what I'm doing as I'm doing it. But this is one of the nice things. Oh, wow, that is bright. Well, we'll definitely turn down the brightness on this. But one of the nice things about a tablet is it's not as heavy as a laptop, or even a Chromebook for that matter. And it's comfortable to hold in one hand as you walk through. But I need to hook it up to my network and that kind of thing. So stick with me for a second. Let's do this one. I have to hook it up to a network. Authenticating. Also, I don't want to expose my neighbors' Wi-Fi's, Not. Okay, there we go. I must have mistyped. It happens. All right, so now it's connecting. You see the little animation that happens. It's going to be a little hard to see. There you go. You can kind of see it there. So it's going through its setup. And this is pretty much the standard pattern for any kind of Pixel device. Let me see if I put something else here. Will that help? Oops. Trying to make it a little easier for you to see the whole thing by putting a different color on the screen, but that doesn't always work. So I can copy apps and data. I can choose. So it says you can choose to transfer your apps, photos, contacts, Google account, and more. Don't know. Let me see. I have to think about that for a second because I don't always want to load up every one of my devices with all the same stuff. Very often I want stuff to be different, especially when I start something new. So I think I'm going to tell it not to copy this stuff over, and we'll see how that goes. And we'll say don't copy. Checking info. It's not having the effect I was hoping it would, but okay. I probably should have turned down the lights in here. So now it's wanting me to sign in with my Google account, which again, we're going to do off camera. Now, 2 bonus points to the Google development team and the product team. The keyboard that came up when you are putting in the email address you want to use is the right one. There are different keyboards that can be displayed when people are asking you for this kind of information, and way too many developers and teams are a little lazy about putting the right one up. So this is the type of keyboard that has the @ sign without having to dig through the keyboard. And it also has the .com option, because that is the most common, to make it easier. So kudos, because those little details make a difference. All right, so I put it in. I'm going to say next. It's going to ask for the password. Give that a second to come up. There we go. Next. And it's going to 2-factor auth, which means I need my phone. Is it me trying to sign in? Yes, it's me, honestly. I wouldn't lie to you. Okay. So let me see. We can do this. Let's go back to overhead. So at this point, I'm just hiding my email address. Not that it's not public, but it's, one less thing. So it's giving you the usual terms of service kind of thing. And you can change your mind. You can opt out down here and say, don't add this account now if for whatever reason you change your mind. But I'm going to say I agree and let it go ahead. It's getting my account info and doing all that kind of stuff. Okay, so it's asking me. Again, we can try to share this. You know what? Let me just try real quick. I'm going to try lowering my overhead lights to see if it makes it easier for this camera to pick up what we're doing. Give me one sec. down a little bit. I'm getting darker and darker and hiding away. My favorite. I prefer it to be dark anyway. I only turn the lights on for you folks. Okay, so let's see if that helps any. Maybe a little bit. Let's see. Maybe a little bit. Okay, so how close I can get it before you lose focus. All right, so little information, and it's asking, do I want to use the usual backup? Yes, I do. Do I want to use location? I'll leave that on for now. Most of the time, I end up turning it off because why? I don't really use a lot of stuff that requires location services. So yes, I'm going to be a little harder to see for a moment. It's asking if I want to let it scan, which means, is it okay for the device to look for a Wi-Fi network to connect to? And it's also asking about Bluetooth, which is interesting. I wasn't sure if this was going to work with Bluetooth or not. Do I want to send diagnostic data? I will for now. Eventually, that's the kind of thing I tend to turn off. But because this is a new device, I do want to help Google get as much information as they can so they can make this as best as they can for us. By continuing, it says you agree that the device may also automatically download installs and updates. Yes, of course. That's all fine. This is all boilerplate stuff. A little bit about the warranty. Additional legal terms, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so now it's asking me to set a PIN for the device. But it does give the option of letting you skip it. So, this is the kind of thing, again, it's going to depend who you are, what's important to you, how much you worry about this kind of stuff. So you can use this keyboard, and again, the right keyboard, right? If they're asking for a PIN and they want it to be numeric, they've just given us numbers. Love it. But there is, and it must be 4 digits, but there is a skip option. So if you don't want to do this, you totally can. I'm going to throw caution to the wind and not do it now. But just as an FYI, when you are doing this kind of thing and you're making this kind of decision, understand that you're not locked in. So yeah, I'm going to skip it for now, but I can always change my mind and go ahead and do it later. And by the same token, if I did it and I decided I wanted to take it off, that's something else you can go ahead and do later. So don't worry too much about these decisions in the moment. Do what feels right in the moment, and then you can go ahead and change your mind later if you want to. So no big deal. Okay, so we're going to switch back. Should have probably done this side by side. So I'm going to say skip. So it says, so now it's asking me to verify. Right? Are you really sure you don't want to do this? And I'm really sure. But it says skip setup for PIN and fingerprint. A PIN is required to set up fingerprint unlock. PIN protects if it's lost or stolen. Well, since it's never leaving my house, I'm not really worried about it. But it's nice that they do verify. And just, again, FYI, because you come here for advice, I am not a fan of the bio controls, okay? No, you don't need my fingerprint. No, I'm not going to do an iris scan. None of that kind of stuff. There are other options. And we can get into this in a different show, but the short version of it is it's not as secure as they present it or as people think. Because if you think about it, right, sooner or later, somebody's going to find a way to hack those things. Somebody's going to breach whatever database, whatever. Like this is just a reality, right? Security is a whack-a-mole game. And you can't change your fingerprint or your iris or your voice print or anything else the way you can with a regular password, or if you use like an additional, auth kind of tool. Like there's other tools that if you do need to change something, you can't change your fingerprint. So just putting that out there. Do with it what you will. Okay, so we're going to keep going. We're going to say skip. And it's checking again. And here we're getting into the fun stuff. So it's talking about the fact that you can use this as another hands-free device, right? It works with Google Assistant, just like everything in Google's world does. So, you can do the, hey, name of device kind of thing to start and stop, play music, set videos, set timers, control your smart home, and do things hands-free, right? Just like you can do with most Google devices now. And then it's asking you for approval, right? So is it okay to use Assistant without unlocking the tablet? Yes, I'm fine with that. Is it okay to use Assistant to play music and all that kind of stuff when it's unlocked? Yep, totally agree. And then it's going to do the voice match thing. Of course, they have, and I know this sounds like a contradiction, but yes, they have my voice because of all the times I've used it before. And yes, I know that sounds like a contradiction of what I said before, but I'm not using my voice for authentication. I'm using my voice to control and get the responses that I want to complete the tasks I want to. So it's, for me, that's more of Star Trek, you know, when you're talking to the ship's computer. But because I'm not using it for security, that's why I'm not worried about it, because I'm not using it as a password kind of a thing. So while it seems like a contradiction, I swear it's not. But again, do with that what you will. All right, here we go. So again, I'm going to say agree. Now, if I hadn't already done my voice print, it would take me through that process of identifying my voice, asking me to say different things. But it's not going to, because I'm already well established in their world here. So at this point, we could continue doing things, right? Identify music, blah, 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 you know, find out how to do more things, but I'm good. So, but if you wanted more information, these little boxes here, you could just click to go ahead and, you know, set things up or learn more about it. But again, I'm in this world, so I'm quite happy. Here, they're asking if it's okay to send through information to the email address about, you know, tips and tricks and how to use it and that kind of stuff. I always say yes, because very often this is how I learn something's coming down the pike so that we can do a show about it. So I'm okay with getting more email. That's fine. I should have timed this. I didn't think about that, right? So now it's explaining how to use it, right? And again, we can skip, or we can, you know, stick around and do this. We're going to go ahead and do this just for information's sake. So swipe to navigate, learn gestures, to go home, go back and switch apps. So this is the kind of thing, because we're not using a keyboard, right, on this to control it. Like, it's all going to be touch, or eventually, which we're going to get into the whole stylus thing. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to walk through this just so everybody's familiar with it. All right, so yeah, we're gonna try it. So to swipe to go home, you swipe up from the bottom of your screen, and it takes you to the home screen. And it's nice. I got a nice little animation that shows you what that looks like. So we're gonna try that. Make sure you swipe up from the bottom edge of the screen. Okay. So I did it from where the image is, but what they really want me to do is from the bezel and then go up. So the trick for this one, make this edge show up a little bit better, because we might be using that again. Okay. So what I went to I had to go to the bezel to swipe up and do that. So now it's saying to go back to the last screen, swipe from the left or the right edge of this, left or right edge to the middle of the screen. Okay. So this feels very normal. So again, all of these seem to trigger by going off of the edge. Swipe to switch apps. To switch between apps, swipe up from the bottom of your screen, then hold and release. Okay, so it's like what we did before, but you go halfway and then release it. So then that's going to show us other things. Again, I'm sorry, but you just going to have to humor me on this, because I do this for a living. I'm impressed with the way that they've done this, because it's quite smart, which you probably wouldn't catch, but because I do this, I'm aware of. So instead of showing us actual screens, which are going to change over time, and you know, they needed to get all these pieces ready in order to release this thing. Let's pay attention to what they did here, because it's very nice. Instead of showing us a real screen, which would be a problem because it's going to change over time, and they probably changed from the time that they created this walkthrough to release, they just represent it as an image. So there's not a lot of hardcore details, and yet it's enough for me to understand what I'm doing. So it's a nice balance between those two things, because they don't have to keep updating this every time they change the UI, and it's still going to make sense to everybody who needs to use it. So that's very cool. So now it's congratulating us, right? We all feel good when somebody tells us we did a good job. You learned how to use gestures. To turn off gestures, go to settings, which on a tablet you're not really going to want to do. So we're going to say done. All right, install update to keep device secure. Or my system is 0 days out of date. Oh, so that's good. Download updates over cellular network. Okay, now see, this is not so good, because this is not going to be on a cellular network, because it's not a cellular device. It is only Wi-Fi. So this text should have been changed. And I might just take the time to go and say something to them about that. But it says downloading updates over cellular network, metered Wi-Fi, or while roaming may cause additional charges. And there is an It's funny. So yeah, this whoever did this one needs to be talked to, because it says the system's out of date, but there's an update to install. So that's confusing. And the update size is 201 meg. So I'm going to go ahead and download that, and it's going to start loading a system update. So while it's doing that, hello again. I should probably turn the lights back up. Ah, Laura, hello. How are you? It's good to see you. Hope all is well. There we go. Now you can see me again. Okay, so while it's doing its update, and we'll see how long that takes, let's keep talking about what this is and all that kind of good stuff. So just to kind of wrap up on what we just did, we unboxed the actual device itself. I still have the cover, which hopefully we'll have enough time to get to. Oh, and we didn't put it on the base. We'll do that in a minute. Let it finish the update. So what we got was the tablet, which is updating, right? We've got the stand, which is the charger and also the speaker, and we got, of course, a charging cable, right? So that's what comes in the default box when you place the order. Let's see what else. So it is very thin. It's very lightweight. It's 11.2 inches. It's an OLED screen, which is why it was so bright. That's why my poor little webcam was like, I can't deal. We're going to make everything else dark so you can see the screen. So very light, very responsive, right? So sometimes with these touch devices, you kind of have to like go a little slower, or you got to, give it a chance to catch up to you. This was very responsive. As I was doing things, it was right there on top of it. There was no lag at all. The screen is very comfortable, to work with. And of course, because it's an 11-inch device, it's a nice size for most people. Sometimes the mobile devices, like this kind of thing, they're a little too small. You have to be a little bit too precise. This gives a little extra room so that you don't have to be as precise when you're touching it and moving things around. So that's definitely a plus. The other thing about this, and the reason probably that it's so perky, is because it's using the Google Tensor chip, which is something that they actually developed. Most of the time with devices, companies buy, from AMD or Intel or whoever. But, while Google's working with one of the chip makers, it is something that they designed and they're creating and all that kind of good stuff. Did that actually finish that quickly? Okay, it looks like it might have. So, okay, let's go back. Okay, so now we've got, see how much happier that was so much happier with the darker screen. So it says, finish setting up your Pixel, just a few more steps. So let's go ahead and do that. Oh, wow, that install loaded fast. Okay, so it's all ready to go. So we're going to say start. And it's doing that again. I'm not going to copy my data this time around. Let's start off clean. Your data won't be copied to my new device. Yes, again, most people are going to want to copy it. I like a very clean experience on new stuff. So that was my choice. Okay, it's asking me to do the pin again. I'm not really sure why, but okay, we're going to skip that and we're going to say no thanks. So it's repeating. Oh, okay, still doing the security update. Okay, so I wonder if it's a little upset because it's not plugged into power while it's doing an update. So what I'm going to do is grab this cable. Well, actually, while it's doing that, here, we'll do the whole thing. So it's doing the security update. What I'm going to do is hook up the stand power, because generally it's a better idea when you're doing an update on a device, you kind of want it plugged in just because it does use a lot of power, and it tends to make the device happier. So let me just get these clips off. Okay, and it's got a nice length of cable on it. Back here. That's a pretty nice length on there. Hopefully long enough without being too long. Oh, it just finished. All right, well, we're still going to do this. Okay, so back to the overhead camera. Okay, so just put this into that space in the back and pop that down. All right, and then I'm just going to over here to the power outlet that I have on the desk. Okay. All right, let me take this down so you can see. So it's saying, all set. So again, there's the 4 dots on the back of this. Oh, that's funny. So we just heard that sound from the speaker, even though I don't have this connected yet. So we've got the 4 dots there and the 4 dots on the bottom. So that's how we're going to connect it. Let's see. And yeah. So it's just a nice magnetic little click there. Now I have to tilt this because of my webcam. But we can set up the hub. Oh, what the heck? Let's keep going. Set up the hub. Okay. Use my screensaver. What should we do? Let's do a clock. Full screen clock. What kind of clock do I want? I like the retro. Next. My account. Okay. It's getting into way too personal stuff, so we're gonna not get into that here. Let's just say... You want me to help? Okay, so now it's getting ready. Okay, so now it's just here. Let me see if I can move this enough. To save. Give me one sec. Didn't think about the logistics of tablet on stand. That's pretty close. Okay, and so it's asking about music, which, yeah, that's going to be that. Let me just make sure, because I'm really not happy with the way it was pulling up information. I wish it would warn me, but of course, they're not really expecting this to be about, there we go. It's not really, they're not really expecting it to be part of a demo. All right, it's asking if I'm using any like Hulu and that kind of stuff. I'm not. Let anyone talk to it, sure. And there we go. It's saying it's all set. So just a couple of minutes, a couple of questions, no big deal. And we say done. And it's finishing setting things up. Well, I've gotten very fuzzy. There we go. Now I'm not fuzzy anymore. Okay. So that's what was in it. That was the process. I did want to just show you real quick. Let's go to here. If you want more information about what it does and all that kind of good stuff, of course, the links are in the description as always. But they did their usual lovely job. So they show you the tablet, the screen, the fact that you can hold it or work with it on the stand is a nice feature. It's supposed to be have good battery life. Now, good battery life is going to be a relative statement based on how much you're using it and what you're using it for and all that kind of good stuff. Oh, I forgot to turn on light. No wonder it looks dark over there. I don't know why I'm looking fuzzy now, but that's okay. It's not about me today. So let's go back to this. So like if you're watching a lot of videos and doing a lot of streaming, obviously you're going to chew through your battery more than if you are just, like doing email and that kind of stuff. Does this open up? So what does it say? It's got 4 speakers. So that is what those holes were. It's got, the front and back camera on it. Now, this is not going to be a high-end camera. You're not going to be doing like panoramic shots and doing movies with it, but it's going to be for if you want to do like, calls and that kind of stuff or quick photos, but it's not going to be the same level photo as you would get on like your phone. Ready. So there's all kinds of information here, but I do give you, some ideas like about what's different about this particular device. So, for example, this is a tablet that comes with Chromecast built in, which is a nice thing because if you want to watch that kind of content, it just makes it so much easier to have it already built in. If you want to share from another device to this tablet, super easy because of Chromecast. Of course, it's a part of the Pixel family, so it's going to work really well with other Pixel devices, which conveniently I also have. You can use this to control your smart home. So it's got all those kinds of features built in, and you can do it through the screen, or you can use the smart assistant to do it, whichever you prefer, whichever is easier in that moment. You can come with, just what you've seen here, or we're going to go ahead and I'll show you the case in a little bit. I did go ahead and get the case. And one of the questions that comes up a lot is about if you get the case, do you have to take that off in order to use the stand? And the answer to that is no. The case is designed so that it will work on the stand or off the stand, so you're good there. But the nice thing about the case is when you're walking around, you can, this is so weird, you can go ahead and prop it up someplace without having to go and find the base to go ahead and, stand it up. So it's just a nice little extra feature for that. Do not know what's up with the camera. I wonder if maybe the sensor needs to be cleaned. That might be it. I might need to wipe the screen. That's probably it. Okay, let's go back here. So we have all that kind of good stuff. Let's see what else they've got on here. And then, so like I said, the case is an extra purchase. You don't have to buy it. You can just use this device right the way it comes out of the box. You can also get an extra speaker dock. So you don't have to buy the speaker dock. When you buy the tablet, it comes with one. But let's say that, you're going to be walking around the house or the office or wherever you're going to be using this device, and you want to be able to, have multiple places to recharge it. You can pick up an extra speaker dock, which is also the charger. You can get a screen protector for it if you want. and this is just a different case for it. So you've got all those different options. And just as an FYI, this one, it's actually available over on Amazon as well. And with, Amazon Prime and all that coming up, it might be worth keeping an eye on this to see if maybe they're going to run some deals. So there's two different versions. There's the 128 gig and the 256. Of course, I went with the 256 because of who I am. And it comes in different colors. And of course, like I said, all the links are in the description as always. All right, so I do want to give some... don't know what's going on. I do want to give some context to this because, again, there's always a lot of confusion with these kinds of devices come out because it's like, well, isn't that just like this? So we kind of covered the fact that there's the Chromebook, there's laptops, there's desktops, there's all that kind of stuff. The thing that people are getting confused with are that there's another series of devices that have been around for a little bit, like this one. Okay, so this is the Nest Hub. This is the small one. And just for comparison's sake, I'm going to take this off of the stand for a second. Okay, so this is the basic one, okay, that I've had for a while. And then this is the size of the new one. So you can see, this one, the existing one much smaller, and this is much bigger because this is the 11th. Now, the differences are more than that because this particular device, which a lot of us, have, this is sort of the in-between point between like the Nest Minis, like in here. Yeah. But the speaker devices for the smart assistants, right? So there's the Mini, which was the circle. There was the Max, which was a bigger one, which is, speaker, but it gave really good sound. And then there was another generation of them. I have one back here, which was a little bit taller, a little bit better. Sorry, I can't pick that one up because it's wired into everything and I'll knock over 1,000 things. This was sort of the next step from this because those are speakers, right? There's no screen. You ask it to do something, you ask it to play something, it responds. It does have some lights on it, like a little, just to kind of indicate that it's on or what the volume is set to. This is exactly like those, except that it had another screen on it. Now, this screen does not come off. Okay, I can do this all day. It's on a base that looks very much like the one on the tablet, but this is connected. You can't take it off. This is not something that you can carry around the house and work with as a tablet, even though we all said when we first saw these, it looks like you took a tablet and smacked it onto a base. So the idea behind this was it's a smart assistant, but for those times where your answer from the smart assistant needs a visual, you would have this screen. Or if you wanted it to work like a clock, like I just set this one up to be, or if you wanted to watch YouTube or that kind of stuff, that's what it was for. So there was this size, and then, let me see one. This one's a little bigger and heavier. So that was the original Nest one. And then this one was the Max, right? So this has got a very, fancy back on it, with but again, it's all built in, right? It's not a tablet. You can't carry this around and do things with it. But this was a bigger screen. It had better speaker on it, right? But, you see the size difference, right? So this was a little tiny one, and this is a big hulking one. Now, this one is exactly like the small one in that it is a speaker that can also show you things. That was the best way I found to explain this to people. It's touchscreen, right? So you can do some stuff on it. But these are, just like the other speakers, these are more passive devices. They sit around, they wait for you to ask something, they respond, and then everybody moves on. There's some interaction with it, but mainly this is it's a control kind of thing. So you can control your smart home, like you can turn lights on and off, you can adjust brightness, volume on some devices, that kind of thing. But you're not really going to be doing work on this. Like there's not an email app, right? There's not a onboard keyboard so that you can type things. These are more about either passively consuming content or getting some information. But one of the best use cases for particularly this larger one, is I keep this in the kitchen. So I'm not a big cook, not a big chef, but every so often I try to follow a recipe. And what this will do is, I can speak to it. So if my hands are covered in whatever food I'm working with, I can ask for the recipe. It will show me the recipe on the screen. I can control, when I'm moving down the recipe. If I want to scroll back up, I can. So for that kind of thing, it's really handy. A lot of people also keep it, and use it for, checking the weather, getting the news headlines while they're having their morning coffee. Again, kind of that passive thing like some people would do in front of a TV, they would do it on this. So like this one lives in my kitchen, and that's what I use it for. It's like for recipes and checking the temperature before I take the doggy out and all that kind of good stuff. And it's very much the same with this. And for both of these, normally I just keep the time on it because then it just becomes another clock source for me. So I just wanted to make that a little bit clearer for everybody, because when you look at these devices, either online or in a store, visually it's not clear what the difference is. There we go. Visually it's not clear what the difference is between the devices, but they are very different use cases. So just wanted to get that out there. Let's see. So yeah, so like I don't even know that you can like read a book on those other devices, but you can on the tablet. You can't check your email really. You're not going to browse the web on it, but you might get answers from a question, that tells you about a web resource. You're not going to really play games on those. You can't install like specific apps. They pretty much come with whatever you're going to be able to do with it. Whereas with the tablet device, this is yours to do with what you will. So you can pick the apps that you're going to put on it. Wow, that magnet is strong. So you can put the apps on it. I love. Sorry, I'm easily amused at this point in the day. You can do email on this tablet. You can do all the things within a certain realm that you can do on a Chromebook or a computer. So closer to a computer than those others, which were closer to a smart speaker kind of a thing. Alrighty. So let's see, what else do I want to tell you? We'll do the case in a minute. So the other use case for tablets, just in a general concept, because people don't always get the point of the tablet because they're like, well, either I want a laptop or I want a desktop. And that's true for a lot of people. That may be enough. That may be all you want. But there is a special space for the tablet. Part of it is just, it's light, it's easy to work with. You can carry it around. I can't, the weight thing is definitely a part of it. You don't have to be at a table. You don't have to be balancing anything on your lap because it's designed to be held and worked with. Like that is the whole point of these kinds of devices. They are also really handy for folks who maybe are experiencing some sort of limited mobility or who have special needs, because it's lighter, because it's easier to interact with. Like I'd mentioned earlier, you don't have to have the fine motor controls like you would on a mobile device, but it's not as heavy and frankly sensitive in very many cases as like a regular laptop or a computer. So there's that. It's also highly customizable. So you can totally like adjust this to your needs or the needs of somebody in your family. So just some quick examples, like for accessibility, these are very handy. As a therapeutic device, they can be very handy. So you can do things like you can install special apps and software on them so that, people can work on fine motor skills. They are used very often for people who need like a soundboard to help them communicate. So, you kind of pre-program the board to say certain words or ask questions or like pretty much anything you want because it's highly, highly customizable to do whatever it is that you want. You can also provide controls, right? So if somebody has, limited mobility and it's tough to get across the room to do something, but maybe they can't verbalize to use maybe one of these smart assistants, you can put those kind of controls onto a tablet and keep it close to wherever they are. And then they can just tap, use a stylus. They can use visual controls to actually go ahead and make those selections for themselves. So this is just lightly touching on some of the other, reasons for it. But it's also just a handy thing for maybe, somebody, again, who just wants to have a device, but they don't want the weight and they don't necessarily have all the real estate for a full computer and they don't maybe need all that extra firepower. A tablet fills that gap lovely because it's right in that wheelhouse of small and light and yet highly functional. And like I said, you can watch content, you can do email, you can surf the web, you can, stream content down, all kinds of good stuff. It's also very handy because it includes things like talkback. So it will read the screen back to somebody. It will do live transcribe. So people who are maybe having trouble with their hearing can read what is being said. And that includes things like on, meetings and calls and that kind of stuff. You can actually use it for people who need to, like, maybe having visual problems, right? Like I'm having with my camera here. Right? It's not you, it's the camera. I don't know why the focus has gone weird. But you can magnify, right? So you can zoom in on the screen, you can, pull it back. So if people are having trouble seeing, small text or images or whatever, they can go ahead and do that. Oh, you know what? I wonder if that's because the lights are off and I've got it configured for when the lights are on. That might be what happened. Again, for a visibility thing, if they are having trouble and they need, like, high contrast, again, you can set this for it. So it's a lovely, flexible solution for people in times when the other things that are available to us are not a good answer. So it does serve a purpose. It is very handy. All right, let me just take a hit of water here. I have been talking very fast. I knew this was going to be a long one, but I did want to get into the stylus thing, because those of us who use these kinds of tablet devices expect to be able to use these kind of things. So there is not an official stylus available yet. However, it is stylus compatible. They've said that from the beginning. So I would expect fairly soon we're going to see a stylus from Google. But in the meantime, it is using one of the standard. Now, there are multiple standards for styluses. We've talked about this a little bit. I think I'm going to do a whole show on it. So what I did was I grabbed a bunch of different styluses that I have, because I did not go and purchase one yet, because I want to see if one of the ones I've got will work, because as you can see, I have many. Yeah, I have many. So, and just again, so that you know that I did go ahead and put a link into the description, which already looks like it's changed. So maybe it's not the right one. I'll double check, and if I need to update the link in the description, I will. No, okay, so it does have. So let me bring this up for you. So here they've got the slate pen. That's the slate. That's not the touchscreen one. Okay, evidently, so this happens. I did this about an hour ago, and of course, Amazon's always changing their page. So I will go ahead and I'll verify, and I will update the link. But there are a bunch of different styluses that you can get, depending on what it is that you are going to be using. And we're going to do a quick test to see if, I'm going to move the base because I think it'll work better flat. I'm going to have to adjust the timeout on this. It seems to want to turn off fairly quickly after I turn it off. Okay. Alrighty, let me just make sure. Okay, I think we're good to share. So let me get the overhead again. Oops. Oh, because I changed the angle on it. One moment. This is what happens when you do things on the fly. All right, that's pretty good. We are getting. Hang on a second. Let me reposition this because I was getting the overhead light, which is not going to be helpful. There we go. How about like that? I'm going to get it so you can see, but without too much glare. Okay, here, let's remove that. All right, so I have no idea if any of these are going to work, but let's give it a try. So first so you can see that, I can tap and I can go into something, right? So let's see. Ooh, did that? No. Ooh, that kind of responded. Now this is just my standard Wacom pen, the stylus. So let's see. Let's try opening, but it's not respond. It's funny. It kind of responds on the bottom here, but it's not actually picking up anything. Okay, so that's fine. This is the stylus from my original Remarkable 2. And again, nothing. Let's see, where is the other Remarkable pen? I think that is this one. This is the Remarkable 2 pen, stylus. Nothing. Okay, I might be buying a new stylus. This is the stylus from my Surface Pro. Nope. Okay, and this is the one from my touchscreen Dell. Oh, I had the most hope for this one. Okay, so whichever format they're using, it's not any of the ones I already own, which means I will be buying a stylus. So I will do a follow-up video showing you the kinds of things you can use a stylus for on this type of device. as soon as I find one that I want to get and go ahead and use. But the idea is that, just like on a Chromebook or on a convertible laptop, or, basically you're going to be mimicking the kind of thing that you all have seen me do with my Wacom tablet, which is plugged into my desktop. And the idea is you can use it to navigate, but you can also use it to, like, if you do art or you want to do handwriting, that kind of stuff, you'll be able to do all that kind of stuff on this tablet, which is a fairly standard tablet approach. But like I said, they have not included a stylus and they have not made one available yet. So I will go ahead and I will find out which version of the stylus that they're actually using. Let me just look real quick and see if I can get a quick answer. I want to see if it says, okay, so the tablet supports the USI 2.0 stylus standard. So I must not have one of those, which is hard to believe. I'm going to end up with all of them sooner or later. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and get. So that's U as in up, S as in Sam, I as in India, 2.0 standard. So if you're looking to go get a tablet stylus for this particular device, that's what you're going to look for. I think there's 5 or 6 standards out there right now. They're competing to become the one. What'll probably happen, like anything else, is we'll end up with 1 or 2 standards down the road. But right now, it's kind of the Wild West, and there's a bunch of different ones. So I will definitely do a follow-up on that as soon as I get myself a stylus that is compatible. All right, that covers the unboxing. I'm very happy so far. I mean, granted, I haven't done a whole lot yet, but it's exactly what I was hoping for. It's not sticky, but there's a slight texture to the back, so it's not like slick like the front of the glass is. The connection is quite impressive. Okay, so that's just a magnet holding these two together. Oh, that's what I forgot. Okay, I'm sorry. There's one more thing I said I was going to do. One moment. Okay, so let's take a look at so I did get the additional case for the tablet, so let me unbox this too. Sorry, I knew this was going to be long. I apologize. Thank you to everybody who stuck through for the whole thing. You're clearly my people. Okay, so lay this puppy out. So that's the back of how it comes out, and then there's usual paperwork in here. Pull this out, these pieces come out, and okay, so this is the little piece in the back that you can adjust so that when you're just using it in tablet mode, it'll work. So let me pop this in. It's a really strong magnet. Okay, so here is the tablet, here is the case. It's got the hole for the camera, so I got to make sure everything lines up, and it's a rubberized case, so you're just popping it in, pushing the 4 corners in. Okay, so now I've got it in there. Now this does add more weight to the tablet, right? Because you've got this piece of metal on the back that's the stand. And the idea is, let me put the overhead back up. So, before everything I was doing, it was laying down this way. But now I can pop this up, right? And I can angle it however I want. And to a certain degree, like I can make it, flatter or standing up taller. So the idea of this is not going to charge it, right? There's no connection. There's no wired connection. This is strictly for when you're moving around. But the other thing I like about it is it's kind of like those phone cases, because you can kind of slide your hand in here, which will just help you hold on this, right? So it'll help you hold on to the tablet when you're working on it. So it just makes it even, it's pretty comfortable to hold. But it just gives you that little bit of extra security because you are carrying around a $500 device. But so that's that. And then again, so you see when I close this is why it's not a problem for the charging, because I can still go ahead and pop that onto the stand, even though I've got the case on it. So there's been a lot of chatter online about, but the case, and you have to take it off to recharge it, and that's not an issue. So with the case on, you just pop it on and off and go ahead and do what you want with it. So to sum up, we have unboxed the Pixel tablet. Okay, it's on the stand, very secure, got the case on it, no problem, it's charging. It is a fully functional tablet that also works when it's in rest mode on the stand and charging as just another smart device. So you can choose to display the time like I've done, or the weather, or whatever you want by default. You can interact with it just like you can if you are someone like me who has the smart displays, the Nest Hubs, which are not portable, right? I brought these just to show you the size difference, but they're not plugged in, so I can't show you anything else because I couldn't get, the cables are all hidden and hard to get to. So it is at a minimum, it is another version of that kind of a smart device, but it is so much more because it is a fully functional tablet that does all the things that you would expect. You can install your apps, you can, type on it, you can send emails, you can do all the things. So from that standpoint, if you were going to choose between the two, like if you only wanted one, I would suggest seriously looking at the tablet because it gives you so much more flexibility. You can do so much more with it. It provides more value overall. Of course, it's, there is no perfect solution. I'm not saying that everybody in the world is going to want to go and get one, but it is the type of thing, it's hard to explain to people who have never used a tablet how handy it is to have one around. And this has been true. So I've bought them for people in my life, who I knew from experience, like would get benefit from it. And they're like, oh, I don't need that. I can just sit at the computer or whatever. And then I gave it to them and I kind of showed them around, gave them an idea of what you can do with it. And then I set them free and then I checked back and they're like, oh, this is great. I use it all the time. Because it is so versatile. It is something that, yes. Oh, sorry. I just heard a weird sound. It's two dogs saying hello, but very loud. It is the kind of thing that is, yes, you can sit at your computer and work on the desktop or on the laptop, but that usually requires, you be sitting in a certain position. Whereas this is something you can grab on the sofa or in an easy chair and kind of do more casual stuff with. So again, it's really hard. And it's, I wish I could kind of invite everybody to give it a try because it is something that after you've used it for a couple of minutes, it starts to click and you're like, oh, I get it now. And now I can think of things that I could use it for. But if nothing else, go into whatever local store by you is going to carry these kinds of things so that you can get your hands on one and kind of get a feel for the difference in how that feels as opposed to what you're used to using every single day. It is definitely, yes, a lot of this stuff you can do on a phone, but it is so much more comfortable and easier for so many people to do it on the larger screen. So just something to keep in mind. All right, everybody, thank you for powering through with me on this. We haven't done an hour-long show in a very long time, but sometimes that is what is needed. As always, if you have questions, if you need some help trying to make a decision about buying one of these over something else, feel free to reach out. That's what I do. So you go to yourtechcoach.com. There's a contact form there. Let me know what your question is, what it is that you're what problem you're looking to solve, or what you want advice on. I'm happy to get back to you. Just make sure you give me an email address so I can get back to you. And if you have an idea for a future show, please feel free to go there and also reach out and let me know because that's where all the best shows come from. And I really appreciate your input. Thank everybody who showed up and talked in chat. If you do have any questions or comments, you don't want to go to the website, whatever platform you're watching this on, you can go ahead and put that there. And I do come back and respond to all of those as well. So got you covered. Whatever's easier for you, we're ready to go. All right. And also, I'd love to hear in the comments, like if you've ever used a tablet, and then if you are thinking about going ahead and checking out this device. I'm just curious, like what the reception is going to be. I was just so excited when I heard that they were doing it. I realize I'm kind of an outlier because I really love all this kind of stuff. And I'm a hardcore fan of tablets. Like I've missed having one. So I'm just curious if you wouldn't mind letting me know. I would love to hear. All right, everybody, I'm here every Thursday I'm losing my voice now. I'm here every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. You are always welcome to come and hang out in chat. We're always happy to have you here. But if not, like I said, feel free to go ahead and jump in the comments. That works just as well, too. I hope you can catch us live sometime. All right, everybody, have a good one. Hope you're going to have a great weekend, and we will talk again soon. Bye.